The views expressed in the following program may not reflect the views of the station management or ownership.
I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. I'm the best, I'm the best, I'm the best. Yes, you are the best.
Hello and welcome to the Brown Guys on Desi 980 AM, Hollywood's Bollywood station. I'm Rizwan Manji.
And I'm Ismail Bashi.
It's 7 p.m., so we are back talking to you guys, and we have a friend of ours who's a guest on tonight's show.
You know, we've got to stop saying that because people will think that we only bring our friends. We want to bring anybody and everybody who's
some
interesting.
Some of them were our friends. Some of them won't be our friends once they've been on the show, and some of them are our friends now that they've been on the show.
Well, first of all, our friend today on the show is Sunil Malhotra, who is an South Asian actor, born and raised, I think, in Illinois, and who now lives in the beautiful city of Los Angeles. And he's going to talk about his arc as an actor, and he also specializes a lot in voiceover acting, which is a very interesting aspect of acting. You know, it's a whole different ball game, if just to give you...
Yeah, and actually, so I met Sunil over, I think, like maybe 15 years ago. We did American Desi together. He played... He either played Hemant or Chandu. I don't know which one because I always.
Wow, you must be really close to him.
But he's still an actor. He was an actor. He's still an actor. But now he does a lot of voiceover work. So we're going to talk to him about that. We're going to play some of his voiceover work. You might not have even known that you were listening to him because it's hard to tell sometimes.
He's got a great voice. I mean, he really has a good voice, and he does these cool animated. TV shows and stuff. Well, he's going to talk about it, so we're not going to say much about it. He's going to come and talk about himself. But Riz, I was thinking that, since we keep bringing our friends, how about if we have a week that we could just walk up on the street or down the street and pick up interesting people.
Pick them up?
Yeah, pick them up. Not literally pick them up, or just like ask them if they'd like to be on the show. Would that be creepy?
Yes, it would.
No, I think it'd be fun. People have done that before, right?
I don't think we should invite them to the studio. Maybe if we can somehow be able to record them while we're in their natural habitat. Because bringing random people...
Natural habitat? I'm talking about people walking
Michael,
on the street.
are you okay with just random people off the street just coming up here and...
Michael cannot answer because he's just took a big bite of food from his lunch. This is how professional we are. He's having his lunch.
This is 7 p.m.
Well,
I guess now everybody knows we pre-record
I have to tell you something, though. That was always my problem when I used to work in New York. And I used to do the evening shift because I used to be in acting school, and I used to come in the evening. And if I had to go, I would tell people, okay, so I'm going on my dinner break. And they'd be like, you mean lunch? You're going out for lunch? I said, no, lunch is in the afternoon. It was just a thing. So I got stuck with saying lunch for, if it's a corporate environment, which this kind of is, so it's lunch.
All right. Now, thanks for those ruminations on lunch. What is it that... you wanted to talk about today?
Well, quite a few things. One of the things I wanted to ask you was that, do you think that we as a race or a species, are we more, I know we are, but what is the reason that we are more biased towards beautiful people? I keep wondering that, and I look at Bollywood and the attitude we have towards these stars, and we put them on a pedestal and literally worship them. Why is that? Like okay, so
because it's
go on.
What is it like? Psychological? It's I think I read an article about we gravitate to people who we think we
okay.
Can
well, that's
mate
the
with.
attraction theory,
yeah,
right? But
and
I get nervous.
With.
Do you get nervous talking to someone who's really beautiful as opposed to someone who's not that beautiful? I mean,
sure.
Do you feel
Which
intimidated?
Is why I'm so not nervous right now. The people in this room.
Touche, my friend. Well done. No, but if at a social event, if someone is man or woman, if they're really all well put together and really beautiful, it doesn't matter sometimes if I know or not know what their intelligence level is. I just feel intimidated having a conversation with them.
I think beauty sometimes replaces or makes you think that person is of a higher status than you.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Is that why
we should get a guest on, a psychologist,
someone beautiful? We need somebody
a beautiful
beautiful
psychologist to come on.
We need someone beautiful to come on this show.
Speaking of beautiful people,
Yes.
I wanted to ask you: did you know that the Academy, which is the academy that gives out the Oscars,
The one that will
that
be
give out the
handing
Academy Awards,
the one
but
that will
they're-
be handing us awards one day,
they're-
soon.
They're called so they're called the Academy.
Yes, the
and
Academy.
There was a campaign, Oscars So White. Basically, they've come under fire for not having a lot of minorities or women in their in the Academy. So
Right.
the ones who nominate
which is
the
a
votes
real
vote.
thing. It's not something
So
that people
yesterday,
made up.
Yesterday, the
Yeah.
Academy invited 683 people to join the Academy, and majority of them were women and minorities.
Yeah, I think I saw the numbers. There was like 46% were women and 41%. So I don't think it's majority.
46% of invitees are women, and 41%
Were
are people of color.
of color, yeah.
But to like women and people of color,
Right,
it makes
right. Which I think is a great step going in that
But I
direction.
just want our guest tonight, Sunil Malhotra, his wife Sumi Bendakur, and I've been told I better not screw up her name.
Yeah,
and I'm
you
sure
better
anyone
not.
else.
You better not mess
But
that
this
name
is what
up.
she wrote on her Facebook page. I'm just gonna read it. Even if all 683 invitees accept, according to the Academy, its membership was 75% male before this year's new members were recruited, and could move to 73% male once they join. Similarly, the Academy was 92% white before the latest list, and could become 89% white in its wake.
Okay, you threw out so many numbers at me. I was
Well,
lost.
so what it's saying is that's great that they invited 683 people, and the majority are non-white and women.
But it's not enough.
But it's going to just basically move the needle.
Maybe like a fraction of.
I mean, she does say this is a good step, and that's great. But we should look at,
well,
this is a step.
Well,
This is like a minor
well,
step. We need
not
to do
only
a
is
leap.
it a step, but we've also learned from this that when you do raise issues, which they did, there was a lot of hue and cry after the nominations this year.
And that
People
there's
take
really-
notice.
Yeah,
People,
and
the
there's-
powers above, take notice and do something about it, because we no longer live in that
But it
time
took
when
2
nobody
years.
cared.
It took several years because
I know, but this was one of the
is like-
biggest
it's
years
two-
of protests. People were threatening to
Yeah.
not go. People were like, talking about it on social media. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
To have that
I
dialogue
can't
and
believe that
conversation.
in 2016 there was every single lead actor and lead actress and supporting actress nominees were all white, all of them. Mind you, the Tonys, all 4 winners were minorities. So
That's correct.
Tony Awards, which is the ones for Broadway, they were all minorities. So you can see the difference. It's just I think it's great.
I think it's a step in the right direction, which is something to celebrate. So I'm happy.
And how are you feeling about? I just read that Chris Christie is on the top of the list for.
Don't even get me
Donald
started.
Trump's,
Okay, when I think of Chris
vice
Christie, I think
president.
of Bridgegate. I think of cheeseburgers. I think of all things that I shouldn't be thinking of.
no. In a way, it's a good. The thing is, in a way, it's a good choice because Chris Christie is sort of I feel like a similar, more tamer version of Donald Trump. Like he kind of like what Shabir had said when he was here. He tells it like it is. He speaks his mind. Chris Christie is sort of like the
No,
one who
Chris
started that
Christie,
politician.
yeah. Well, and like Donald Trump, sometimes Chris Christie should not speak his mind, because when he speaks his mind, which is okay if it's correct and nice, or even not nice, but if it's something we don't agree with, but he can be really downright rude. There have been videos of him on YouTube, on social media, where he's been really, he talks down, he schools
But
people who don't agree with his opinion.
Again, it's this thing of like the people who like Donald Trump, the people who like him. It's like he tells it like it is, and he speaks his mind. If
I am
that's the case, then you want your
Okay,
VP.
Rizwan, I am so over of telling it like it is, because anybody can tell it like it is. That does not make you a better person. Yes, the underlying message is that we appreciate honesty and people who are not two-faced, but you have to be sensitive towards other people's feelings. I'm not trying to propagate a society where everybody has to be so overly sensitive and walk on pins and needles, but you have to care. You have to care. Chris Christie, here's the thing. It's so strange and annoying to me that, politics and money can make strange bedfellows. When you want to do something which is serving your own interests, you go back how many months when they were like lashing out at each other in the debates, right?
Yeah, but that always happens. You're obviously trying to get the.
But then these are the people want to vote for. What kind of integrity? What kind of moral fabric? Character. I mean, when we had leaders in the past, when you had leaders like FDR or JFK or Teddy Roosevelt or Washington, Lincoln, Hamilton. Well,
I'm
Hamilton
Canadian,
was not
so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pierre Trudeau or Justin Trudeau or Justin Timberlake, whoever is Canadian. Oh, actually, Timberlake is not Canadian.
Well, what do you think about what do you know about Hillary's? Who's on the top of the list? I heard some names.
Well, there's a lot of discussion that Elizabeth Warren is on that list.
I don't think it's going to happen.
But I think it's just too much of I
think it'd be great.
It'll be amazing.
it's gonna
It'll be
happen.
amazing because there'll be almost like a balance, because people have, people who are not her supporters would actually get on the bandwagon if you have someone like Elizabeth Warren on that ticket, because there'll be some kind of righteousness, and I'm not saying that she's unrighteous, but you know what I'm talking. You get the gist
Elizabeth
of it.
Warren tells it like it is too.
But she does it in a good way. She does it
no,
in a
no,
good
no,
way.
no, wait. You say that she does it in a good way because you're on her side.
Well,
And
maybe that's what it
That's
is.
what it is. It's just like, if you just say what Ismail wants you to say, then telling it like it is okay. But if you don't,
Isn't
then
that
it's
what?
not
Isn't
okay.
that what life is all about?
But I heard that Tim Kaine. So Tim Kaine, is he the governor of Virginia? He is. There's a little bit of
Is
controversy.
he on the list?
He's the top of the list.
Wow.
But there's a little bit of controversy because similar to the Bob McDonnell, the one, I'm probably saying his name wrong, but the one who's went
we
to jail.
forgive you. You're Canadian.
He went to jail
Yeah.
for bribery. He had taken some gifts, but then the Supreme Court said it did. Anyways, they vacated
All
his
those
sentence.
qualities have the making of a perfect candidate.
But Tim Kaine has a little bit of an issue too because he was flown somewhere on a political somebody else
Like
paid for it
fundraiser.
so it's not illegal, but there's like a little bit of a controversy there, so there might be
at the end of the day, those little details matter. I mean, we can pick and dissect.
if it's bribery, it does matter.
Yeah, no, bribery
If
does
it's-
matter.
If he's going to be in
But-
jail, I think that's a problem. The vice president's going to be
Well, that could be
in
a new.
jail.
That could be a
That's
new
problem.
office.
Although there's still maybe an FBI investigation on Hillary. We have no idea what's going
Look,
on.
look at our home country.
Trump,
Look at
everybody's being investigated. Trump universe. Everybody there's Bridgegate. If it's Chris Christie. So everybody who is going to be running is going to be having an investigation.
in the grand scheme of things, it's not that different from other places, and I'm not trying to say it's okay or not. If you look at the Indian Parliament, they did a study, or they did a statistical analogy that almost, I think, 58% of those elected officials had police cases, registered FIRs against them.
Yeah.
For all kinds of bribery, corruption. Some of them were even indicted for like prostitution, soliciting. I'm not kidding.
Well, it seems like everything is illegal at this point. So that's not.
It seems to be the norm. If you want to be in politics, you got to have a little illegal skeletons in your
We
closet.
do need to go to break because I want to bring Sunil in here, who's
Yay,
waiting patiently
Sunil
outside.
Malhotra.
However, I do want to say that there was some news. If there's any fans of Serial, that podcast,
Yes.
from This American Life, there's an update that they are going to grant him a new trial. That is huge
That
news.
is not only great news, but that also is a testament to what the power of social media can do in the positive sense.
Yeah.
There
I
was-
do. We're gonna throw it out there. We're gonna bring Sunil in, and then when we, after we talk to him, maybe we'll have a few minutes to talk with Sunil about Adnan Saeed. Am I saying it right?
Adnan Saeed. Yes,
Saeed,
you're saying it
right.
perfectly, Rizwan.
You're listening to the Brown Guys on Desi 980 AM, Hollywood's Bollywood station. We will be back with Sunil Malhotra
So don't
after the break.
go anywhere.
Make some noise for the Desi Boys! D-Boys!
Welcome back to the Brown Guys on Desi 980 AM, Hollywood's Bollywood station. I'm Rizwan Manji.
And I am not Sunil Malhotra.
Hello.
I am Ismail Bashi, and
We have Sunil Malhotra.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
We're going to talk about your VO work, so we're going to play a little bit of your stuff.
Oh,
Is that okay? All
very
right,
exciting.
Michael.
Don't let my reputation intimidate you. I'm still human just like everyone else. Only more human. Like extra human or Superhuman?
We never stood a chance. They attacked us on a training mission. Jedi Knights are too powerful for them.
Please, AJ! Oh, boy, am I glad to see you! Oh no! I'm tangled in these vines!
Hello, my name Turkey. You roast me in danger chamber during holiday eating time. Not nice, but okay. Can't believe I say that. Single tear.
That was awesome. Can you tell us what we were listening to?
Yes. What was that? So the first bit was from The Legend of Korra.
Okay.
I played a character named Prince Wu, who is very woo-woo.
Okay.
He's just a very all over the place kind of guy.
Legend of Korra is on what?
Is on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
And he was a popular character, a big character in the fourth season, the final season.
Okay.
And then
So it's not running anymore.
No,
but we
it's
can
not.
still catch it on like on demand.
Oh,
or
totally on demand.
Yeah.
Nickelodeon's website, iTunes.
Now you did all
Amazon.
seasons of that, or you did the
Just
fourth
the,
season?
just the last season.
The last
Just
season.
the last season.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what was some of the?
And then
there was,
after
like,
that,
four things
there was the Clone Wars, Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Oh, wow.
Which was just a lot of fun to do. To be
Yeah.
a part of that universe was growing up, get to be a part of Star Wars is
amazing.
it
Where
was a
can we
lot of
where
fun.
can we see that?
That was through Cartoon Network. So, but like Amazon,
Okay.
iTunes, wherever you find movies and TV.
That's awesome.
And then the next one was from Blaze and the Monster Machines.
Yes.
It's currently on Nickelodeon.
Okay.
So we're in season 3 right now.
And you're in this. Okay,
yeah.
Perfect.
I'm a regular on that show. I play, my character's name is Stripes. I'm a tiger monster truck.
That's awesome.
It's geared towards preschool kids, and it's really cool. It's the first show of its kind that really introduces STEM concepts: science, technology, engineering,
wow.
math.
Oh, wow.
So it's like it's following a bunch of monster machines on their adventures, and then when they have to jump over a ravine or something, they got to figure out angles or velocity. And so
I
it's
love it.
so like my 3-year-old watches it, and so now he's like explaining to me about all these
That's
things. I'm like,
awesome.
oh, that's cool.
There was one more?
And the last one was that was actually for a commercial, but it was me being a turkey, a sad turkey.
Oh, I think it's great.
Because
That's the thing.
you wake up and you go to the office, you're like, I'm gonna be a turkey today.
I think that's the beauty. That's the beauty of like VO work is like for on camera.
Yeah.
I mean, there's rarely you're gonna be able to play a turkey,
right? Or like a green alien, or well, sometimes you're a green alien, but
It's funny. I walk into a room, everyone says, "Look at that
look
turkey."
at that, look at that turkey,
Look at that
all the
turkey.
time, all the time. Tip your waitress. No, I mean the thing with VO is that and on camera you are your type, right? Like in the sense that
Yeah.
like what you look like is
Essentially
like you're
what you
working
play.
around that. Yeah,
Yeah.
is what you play. And with voiceover, what you sound like becomes kind of your type. And obviously the other half of that is what you bring as an actor,
Yeah.
your unique.
So these
take
are
on
not. These
things.
were obviously not ethnically specific.
Well, no, in fact, what I was going to say though was like when you manipulate your voice, you can change your type a little bit,
Yeah.
right? But like, even for Star Wars, where I had a little bit of an accent, it's so funny. They were just like, they weren't even like trying to be like, do it this way or do
Yeah.
it that way. They were just like, kind of come up with what you do.
Yeah. So I guess sometimes it is. You've gone in for like, oh, we want an Indian,
Totally.
or we want a British,
Yeah,
that's
totally.
the thing. So they are specific, but a
But
lot
then
of times
sometimes
they're
just
not,
like, we
right?
don't know
And
what we
so-
want. You come up with
Yeah.
something, and sometimes like I'll come up with an accent that's sort of in my mind, a mashup of a couple different things.
Yeah.
And then just to kind of do something different, like that I think might work with this particular character. And so sometimes you just kind of.
But
And it's not just accent; it's really like characterization,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and voice. But yeah, you have a lot of different clothes, so to speak, that you can put on.
That's awesome.
Have you ever played 2 different characters on the same show or the same film? Like, have you voiced 2 different characters?
Well, I know for. Oh yeah, of course, yeah, totally. I was blanking. I was like,
Yeah, that's all right. We all blank out on this show.
Yeah, I have. Where so
Some
for
of us
instance,
more than others.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Hello. So like on Blaze, I will sometimes play like a smaller side character if they need to fill in. Like,
Right,
hey, we want
right.
to. Can you do something that is completely different?
And how do you do that? Do you like completely change your
Totally.
voice?
Yeah, you totally change your. I mean,
That's incredible.
And then the other thing, the other thing I do is audiobooks, and with audiobooks,
I was going to ask you about that, and I'll tell you why. But go ahead.
Well, you know, sometimes in audiobooks you're not necessarily trying to sound 100% different from like different characters that as you would in an animation show. But like I've had conversations with myself in the audiobook where like I'm the narrator, so I'm reading in whatever voice that is.
Yeah,
if it's first person, maybe I'm taking on the character
Right.
that I'm doing. All right. Then I'm also like I am a Japanese woman talking to an old Australian man,
Right.
and things, and like talking to a young Russian dude, talking to, you know, and all this, and like they're all in the same scene together, and you go a little nuts. But
And
luckily you get to stop.
So,
Wow.
well,
So you have to- I can't even imagine. I think that's.
well, that's the reason why I asked is because my most difficult voiceover experience has been doing an audiobook, and I will not say for whom because it was a big deal and
Yeah.
things didn't go well. Because when
Things
you do
didn't go well?
it did not go
Why
well.
am I not surprised?
No, you should never be surprised.
Remember, it's Hollywood's Bollywood station.
Yes.
You can't get those. What is it? 5 words together.
But exactly. So
3
I
words.
realized.
What
and
does he say?
and then
What
he's
does he
like
say?
Bollywood's Hollywood station, or like, oh, one day he didn't remember the name of our show. He's like, you're listening to
It's a
what is the name
couple
of our
of guys are
And
brown,
they
maybe, I
actually-
don't know.
And you got hired to read an entire book. I can't imagine.
It was 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
It was 1,000 pages.
You got to what?
1,000 pages. I'm not
How
kidding.
long was it?
Let
when
me
it
guess.
was
Did
done?
you get fired after page 3 or what?
Like
did we
I
get?
probably got fired after page half.
after page half?
Okay.
That was.
That's longer than I would have let you
This is
continue.
narrated by. No. We're done. We're done.
But
We're
here's
done.
the weird part. Here's the weird part. I won't mention the book, obviously, because I don't want to get in trouble. But on Amazon, and if you,
It's
you know,
available everywhere.
and it says I am the narrator.
Oh,
yes. Oh, this is great because
the poor
everyone
guy
is
who
Google
actually
searching
did
right this
all
right
that
Right.
now.
Everyone's Google.
Go
search.
to Amazon right now, everybody. Everybody, stop what you're doing.
'Cause you
Pull
know-
over.
Sunil, I worked with Jim Dale, who won a Tony and for not a Tony, was it an Emmy? No, a Grammy for audio. You know.
Oh, for the audiobook.
Yeah, for a Grammy for all the Harry Potter books.
I'm glad that
Oh,
you get 3 tries to
wow.
figure out which award it was.
Yeah, but you know, whatever. It's one of those.
He
awards.
won something, damn it.
But do you know that he did 136 characters, all in different voices?
Wow.
I mean, so that's why I was.
Wow.
So when I was doing
That
this,
sounds
I
like a
thought,
nightmare to me. It's like, I
thought-
feel like I
Wow.
have dreams about, like, oh my god, I can't
I
figure
no,
this
no.
out.
But
the
like,
most
how
I've
do you
done, yeah.
remember? How do you remember? Because you know the characters keep coming back. So
Totally,
do you
totally.
voice them when you voice one character in a certain. So you have to
Yeah.
remember how that sounded, right?
Oh yeah, no, you know, well, the first thing I say about you were saying audiobooks are so hard. The very first director I had on my very first audiobook said, audiobooks are like pushing a boulder up a mountain with your face.
I couldn't agree more. Hallelujah.
And that's actually, I just finished an audiobook, and I don't think it ever it always feels like that.
Yeah.
Always feels like that. But
um,
to answer your question, like I cast them in my head, like with like some sort of somebody like that is like known in the world, right? And I won't do an impression of that person, but like I'll use that person as like, and it's not necessarily like some actor, but it's like somebody I know in my life, or somebody I met, or some
Yeah.
idea
Yeah.
of somebody
Right.
I know. And so, and then I'll just sort of like write a little note, like, okay, whenever I do this person, this is what's gonna, like, that's the person for
Yeah.
me, you know. And that was actually also advice someone gave
I
me.
tried that, and all my characters.
They all sound the
They
same.
all sound the
They sound
same.
exactly the same.
They all sound like he's from Bombay.
That's because you're the only person you care about.
Couldn't have said better. I love
I
me.
do.
I've known you long enough.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
So we know each other because we
Long time.
ago.
Yeah.
I think it might have been one of our first.
It was my first professional movie.
Yeah,
Did
you
you get
guys,
Hemant
we
or
get it.
Chandu?
You guys were each other's first.
I was Chandu.
He was Chandu in American Desi. However, what I guess my question is that
Yeah.
you sort of now geared towards voice. I mean, you still act, But what happened? Like what process? Does it just auditioning and this sort of happen, and now you sort of have this voiceover career, or like did you make a conscious choice to be like, hey, I'm gonna focus on this?
Yeah.
So take me through that.
Sure. So I've been doing like theater and on camera, and I was sort of at a place where there were some years where I was it was just actor income. Some years it wasn't. And I'd heard about voiceovers, like, like I knew about them. But it's always been, the idea has been like, it's a closed industry.
Yeah.
It's small and you're never going to break in, blah, 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 blah.
We did ADR together.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
on Hero.
Yeah. And so like I'd done some ADR work and that was good.
You
but like,
have to tell people what
of course,
ADR is.
So
otherwise
ADR
they're
stands
like,
for
Ismail just said words I don't understand, which is usual, but
all the time. It's additional dialogue recording, and so
it's all the like when you're watching a movie and the main actors are talking, and then you'll see these people in a cafe having a conversation. Well,
And it
they were
sounds like
background that weren't
yeah,
saying anything,
yeah.
but they were moving their lips, saying watermelon, 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 and then you guys come in and you go.
Yeah.
You guys have conversations,
have
but
a
then you
real
kind of hear
conversation.
like a blip of it every
Yeah.
now
On a
and
very
then.
low track. So
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
for ambient sound.
And
Keep
so
going.
but I was kind of like, I would love to just sort of explore like, what is this world? So basically I started bothering friends that did it.
Yeah.
So I started with audiobooks. So there's a friend of ours, Shashir Kuro.
Yeah.
And so he did audiobooks, and he's a big actor and playwright and director. And so I said, hey, the next time you can't do a book, recommend
Send
me.
it my way.
And so I auditioned. And
From what you said, that doesn't sound like a favor. It sounds more like torture.
Yeah, I'd give you all my audiobooks.
right. I was like, this might be interesting. So I did, and then I got my first book, and then that book was actually a very good book, which is rare to actually get a really good book, and it was called Cutting for Stone by Abraham Verghese, and in that book it was like 24 hours finished. It was a 24-hour long book, and there were like maybe 70 or 80 characters
Wow.
in it, and they were from all over the world, from India, England, regionally all over the States, Ethiopia. And so that book ended up getting me a lot of notice. I got an award for it.
Oh,
That kind of
nice.
got me into the audiobook world.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, but I really want to do like the other stuff too,
Yeah.
like animation and stuff. And meanwhile, this whole time I'm still working
Acting, yeah.
on camera
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So so then another friend of mine who also done a lot of TV stuff and some movies, he had just gotten into voiceovers,
Yeah.
into the animation side of it. And so he said, "Oh my God, Sunil, you totally have to do this. You have
Yeah.
to you have to jump in this pool. It's awesome." And I said, "Great, introduce me to your agent." I just did this book, and so the agent said what all agents say, which is, let me know when you have a reel, and
Yeah.
we'll see what we see. So then at that point, I was like, well, how do I get a reel? Like it was very much starting over again.
Yeah.
Because by that point, I mean, this was maybe 6 years ago. I've been doing like on camera theater, like stage acting for a while.
Yeah.
But I was basically starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So it was, okay, what do I need to learn about what it is to be, what's different about being a voiceover actor versus like, what's different, what's the same,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So he had recommended somebody to kind of go take classes from, and I didn't want to just,
if anybody wanted to.
Oh,
take,
yeah,
like
Car-
myself,
Carol
or
Kimball.
Ismail. Sorry?
Carol Kimball.
Carol Kimball.
She's
okay.
amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And she actually doesn't even advertise her classes. It's all word of mouth.
Oh, wow.
And so I did that. And while I was doing that, I kept bothering my friends saying, hey, what'd your agent say? What'd your agent say? What about now? And so unbeknownst to me, the agent actually asked Carol, hey, is this guy
Yeah.
somebody I should
Yeah.
bother meeting at all? And I didn't know this at the time, but I found out later. She said, yeah, you should totally meet him. So I met the agent, and
Can you tell us what agent?
yeah, it's actually my agency now. I
Great,
signed
tell
with them.
us.
It's AVO Talent,
Awesome.
Sandy Schnarr and Peter Verano, and they are amazing agents and human beings. Which is
And
really,
they should
really-
sponsor our show.
Totally.
Well, I'm leading you down this path because I have a political question.
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, because we were mentioning that, when it's just voiceover, people don't really know what you look like, right? So you're sort of creating these characters. You could be kind of anything.
Yes.
Did you find that it was different in that way? Like, were you able to, when you started booking voiceover work for stuff that was not ethnically specific, did you then get a bigger realization of how we're so stereotyped when we're on camera as opposed to off, or did you feel like it was similar even in the voiceover world?
I'll say a couple things about that. So there was no realization beyond what I already know that the on-camera world, for as many strides as we've made, and we've certainly made strides.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I'm including like
Rizwan and me.
Yes, just the two of you. Really, is all I mean. People of color, women of color, as well as white women and the LGBTQ community.
Yeah.
But everybody. I mean, but it's pretty closed off.
Yeah.
So.
The thing
So
is
I didn't necessarily realize. Oh my God, it's so much worse than I thought it was when I got
to
to
kind
voiceover.
of confirmed what you already.
Yeah, it confirmed everything already.
Because the thing is, you clearly have the talent, and you clearly were able to do it because you're getting cast and stuff when there is this blinder. Ismail's wife is a violinist, and the first auditions, aren't they?
I love that. They're always behind
because
the
they don't
curtain.
want you to
Totally.
because looking at someone just makes you.
Yeah,
But
think
here's the
that-
key. Here's the thing. Voiceover, but it's not gone from the VO industry.
It isn't.
No
because
way.
they still see when they get the tape, it still says Sunil Malhotra,
Yeah,
who
and
is
so,
not John Smith.
Exactly. And not only that. So let's break it down. So for commercials, so when I slate, I say my name the way I always say my name, Sunil Malhotra.
Yeah.
Okay. I've noticed that when I sometimes I have to say Sunil Malhotra. Right, for like commercial stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna ever do this. I talked about it with my agent at one point.
Change your name. Sonny Mallow.
Right, back in the day. Because the thing is, I actually, when I started out, like in New York, when we were starting out, my manager, actually, this is your manager, actually. Oh my God, this is your manager,
The producer of our show.
Okay, well,
Did she tell you to change your name to Curry Malhotra?
she told me to change. She told me to change my name to Sonny Mallow.
Oh my God!
That's where that name.
Maybe I'd heard it before.
That's where you heard the name. This has been an ongoing
That
joke
should be your
forever.
name for your next career when
Right?
when you move on.
This is literally that is the truth. And so and for me, I at that period of
Sonny
my
Mallow.
career, I was like, you know what, I certainly when I was a kid, I had wanted to. I went through the phase of like, God, I hate my name. I don't and I wanted to change, but I went through everything I went through, and I was like, you know what, my name is who I am, and so that's I'm gonna I want to keep that,
Yeah.
and I don't want to change it. You guys have to catch up to me, not the other way around. And so that's why I didn't even want to do this little experiment with my VO agent about
But sometimes I think with the on-camera stuff, I think you mentioned this before, is that sometimes it's harder when you don't fit into a box. Because I think you had mentioned once that cast directors don't think you look Indian enough, right?
Totally.
So you have this problem of like, you're Indian,
Right.
you're not Italian, you're not
Right.
Hispanic,
Right.
So
Right.
when you go in for those parts, they're like, well, you're not
Totally.
that. But then when
Totally.
you go in for Indian, they're also like, well, you don't look Indian enough, right?
Right.
So I think that there's
It's
sort of
a-
a double-edged sword, right? Like you want to be like, I
yeah.
can play anything, but then when you are playing anything, they're all like, you're not specific enough, you're not
Right.
this enough, you're not this enough,
Right.
And I think I guess that's where I'm getting to, is that do you feel any sort of do you find the VO world more rewarding because you are able to do this?
Yes. In that sense, yes.
Or did you fight that barrier and now you've won it and sort
No.
of?
It's both, because in the VO world, I definitely am less restricted by race than I am in the on-camera world. But there is still huge. The VO industry is extremely white. It's extremely white. So, and when they, like, for instance, with looping stuff, when we've done looping before, like, I sound the way I sound, right? So and I do accents are my specialty. I can kind of go anywhere with them. So when but like, you know, when they want to consider, they're like, well, we just want you to be the Indian guy, right? Or so it's more it's less about in terms of what's happening behind the mic, and
Right.
it's more about like just you,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So, but these are things that you change with relationships.
Absolutely.
And so, like, you know.
And
anyway,
speaking of change, you can always, you know, if you want to
I can
change
give you a quarter.
career, Sonny Mallow would be a good porn name.
Sonny- it would.
Man, all right.
there-
So
I
think
said
that's
it.
I think that's a good note to. We have to actually go to a break.
Oh, okay, great.
The time flew by, but we are going to be back with Sunil.
Oh, Sonny Mallow.
With that, we're going to be back with Sonny Mallow.
Sonny Mallow is
We
here
want to
for
talk
all
a little
your
bit more,
needs.
but we're gonna go out and we're gonna hear a little bit more of your voiceover work as
sure.
we're going out.
Awesome.
You're listening to the Brown Guys on Desi 980 AM.
Congratulations, Rigby! You won't need to go near another school for the rest of your life, Rigby!
Huh? Get out of my class, Rigby.
Now, everything is different. It's not just about that feeling anymore. It's not even about dance. It's about staying alive. As an international super spy, I'm always finding myself in random exotic places, like Des Moines.
The lanterns are excluded from databases under Guardian Security Decree 82669. Approaching coordinates now, oh great one.
Let's face it, you need more practice. The hologram man was 10 times the fighter you are.
Welcome back to the Brown Guys. This is Ismail Bashi sitting in with Rizwan Manji and my good old friend Sunil Malhotra, who
Hello.
we actually did a movie back together. I have to give a shout out to this movie. About 12 years ago, Sunil and
Lord.
I had a lot of other people in it, like Kalpan, Purva Bedi, Lisa Ray. We spent a great summer in Austin, Texas, and you guys should go and check it out.
Don't ever check this
No,
out.
you
It's
should.
the worst
It's called
movie
Ball and
ever.
Chain.
Worst movie ever.
It's called
Worst
Ball
movie
and
ever.
Chain.
Yes.
Where can we watch this movie?
Nowhere.
I think it'll probably be on rentals. Just Google it. You'll
Don't
find
Google it.
You'll
Don't-
find
don't
it.
Wait, tell
Google
us.
it.
So you guys did
Your,
not
your
a good
thumbs
experience.
will fall off.
Just to give you a little, I'm in that movie in the last scene in a golden thong.
Okay, that's probably maybe that's worth it.
All right, that's enough.
We just lost all
If
our
you
viewers.
don't like your eyes,
Michael,
it's worth it.
Michael, I think is about to lose his lunch right now. He is-
And there it goes. There
Good
it
times. Good times
What's
in
that?
Austin, Texas.
Anyway,
I guess I lost that bet.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Do either of you suffer from FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Yeah.
I
My
read an
kid
article
does.
about this.
I know someone who is. Well, go on. Tell me.
No, I just read an article about this.
Okay.
Some famous person was like, Karan Johar wrote an article saying, I don't.
Oh, really?
But he was actually talking about specifically
He has
about
FOMO?
sex.
He has
He
fear
was-
of missing
he's
out
not-
on sex.
Yeah, he doesn't have fear of missing out. I'm serious. He wrote an article saying that he had sex for the first time when he was 26 years old.
Do
And
you
he's like, I'm
realize
done.
he's going to be on the show next month? So
Is
Is he really?
Yes.
No, this is great because
But
then
he
you
did-
guys can
no,
actually
but
use
he-
this to
it's-
intro
I'm not-
him.
He wrote the art. He wrote an article on NDTV or whatever.com,
Okay.
and he said the first time he had sex was 26 years old. It was
Okay.
very kind of like odd and all this stuff that there was so
Okay.
much pressure. He had grown up with a shy father.
Where exactly was the pressure? Because isn't that the whole point?
I think we're gonna be canceled.
Ismail
after this.
Bashi,
But
ladies
anyways,
and
that's where
gentlemen.
and then that's the term FOMO came in that article because he's like I don't he doesn't
doesn't
have sex
have
a
FOMO.
lot anymore, and so he
Okay.
doesn't have a fear of missing out.
We have
Anyway, I
said this
just
word
want-
far too many times on a family show. Let's move
That's
on.
it.
Let us move
Dials
on
have
to wonderful
changed.
things.
Are we not allowed to? Is that one of the words we're not allowed to? Am I gonna get?
You're not
fired?
allowed to say sex,
I
sex, sex,
know.
sex, sex, sex.
Yes.
All right. Anyways, you brought it up for some odd
Yeah,
reason.
okay.
No,
so-
I was
well-
wondering because I know someone who needs to always be in the loop, in the what's happening, what's this.
Do you
and
just
then-
lie to them? I would lie to
I
them.
basically don't take their calls anymore. And so I'm always like, what's going on?
Wait, can
what
you-
is it?
can you just enunciate that word silently one more
I'm
time?
never going to do that. He knows what I'm talking about.
Oh no.
But it's kind of stressful because they
It
kind
is.
of
That's a
wear
lot
you
of-
down.
yeah.
They wear you down like, oh, what happened? Why was I not there? La. I was like, okay, you got to let it go. In words of Megan Trainor, you need to let it go.
Oh, Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Wise words.
So
wise words.
For the break,
Yeah.
we were talking about your wife. Can you
Yes.
first of all, we said Sumi
Pendakur.
Pendakur. Oh, we said
Yeah.
it sort of right, did
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
We said it sort of.
I
right.
did. You didn't.
And so you've heard about the is it AMPAS, the academy?
Yeah.
Inducted, is that 683, or they invited?
They invited.
683 members. A lot of them are minorities and women.
Yes.
But which was great. Like all the articles were like, "This is such a great move. This is such a huge deal."
Yeah,
They said 41%. But your wife pointed out that really it only moves the needle like 2 and 3%.
Yeah, exactly.
So, do you have any thoughts on that at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think she was really just. This is specifically a Hollywood Reporter article that she was referencing.
Yeah.
And basically, the way that the headline made it sound was that, problems
are solved.
Problems are solved. It's going up by like 73 or 40 some odd percent more people are going to be invited in this category, and 40 some odd percent in this category, and wow. Whereas in reality, it's literally just moving the needle by 2%.
Yeah.
And 3% for women and people of color. So it's a good stride. And then even to move the needle that much.
That's how
there's so much. It's controversial. There's so
because
much
there's so much
pushback.
backlash now. It's like, oh, these people aren't talented.
They're
they
not
don't deserve to
qualified.
be
The
in
Academy
this
Awards
thing.
are going to be meaningless now, and it just kind of really points to the level of white privilege and the racism, both systemic and just sometimes overt,
And
that we still are in as a society.
And the thing is that what I try to tell people, and you tell me if I'm wrong, because
You're wrong.
Ismail has no problem doing that.
You just asked me to tell me if you're wrong.
Never pose that question.
Is that it's not
to
really
Ismail.
about it's not really about we want to win awards.
No, no.
It's the fact that these awards lead to jobs that it's there's so many famous directors who they cast movies like even Aloha was cast and they cast
Cameron Crowe,
Emma Stone
as
an Asian woman, and then
yeah.
now Tilda Swinton is playing like the ancient
one
and what they say is
Joseph
that I
Fiennes
cannot
was going to play Michael Jackson.
Well,
Yeah.
Ridley Scott said, I
can't talk about Ridley Scott because I'm premiering in a Ridley Scott movie.
I'll say it. He
I'll
said
say it.
that
I'll
I
say
cannot
it.
make a movie.
Congratulations. What movie?
Equals, which you should all
All right,
watch.
okay,
Yes,
everyone
July
promoting
14th.
Equals.
Well, he
Okay.
said I cannot make a movie and have the lead actor named Muhammad something.
So you're right.
Yeah.
Well, what's silly
And
is
the-
okay. Well, and let's
and
break
that's the
that
thing
down.
is that-
Let's
yeah.
break that down. Let's break that down. So there, everyone saw The Martian. You saw The Martian?
I saw
did
The
see The
Martian.
Martian.
Okay.
I know
So-
what you're gonna say because
okay,
I was
you-
all upset about
Right.
it.
You know what I'm saying. So basically, this is based on a previous property, right? It was based on a very best-selling novel.
Yeah.
Okay. And so in the cast, you have Matt Damon as the lead. Great. Everyone loves Matt Damon. Project Greenlight, snafu aside. And but then there's a character that's an Indian character.
Kapoor.
Dr.
Dr. Kapoor.
And
Yeah.
so they got Chiwetel Ejiofor in it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. But they couldn't get an Indian guy
So
because
apparently-
apparently they already had a black guy.
So apparently they asked. It was offered to Irfan Khan,
because he's the only Indian.
and then and that's the thing. That's what made me laugh. Is like he was the only
because
Indian guy.
Irfan Khan, and I'm so happy for his success because
Yeah.
he deserves it because he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
But it's like okay, so he did The Namesake, which introduced him.
Yeah.
He's been working forever.
Yeah.
It introduced him to American audiences, and so now Irfan Khan is like in every tentpole
Yeah.
because they're like, we want diversity.
Yeah.
We're gonna have this guy
Yeah.
hit our Asian market, literally, right?
Exactly.
And so I mean, it's like. Thinking very cynically, they're like, well, we have an Indian guy in a smaller part, so we can't have an Indian guy in the big part. So if Irfan Khan's not going to do it, who can we get to do it? And then, there was I think a Mindy Park or something Park was supposed to be played by, it was a Korean woman.
Yeah.
And they got this, she's a fine actress. She's on *Halt and Catch Fire*. And
Yeah.
I don't know her personally, but I'm like, does she really add dollar amount beyond like casting somebody else?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like in the sense like, are people actually? I mean, if you got a Matt Damon movie
Yeah.
with other big hitters,
That's the thing.
in
Is
it,
like you already you
got
had,
Matt
like,
Damon
the
and a
stars in
bestseller.
that movie.
You've
right?
got your
Bet-
money
between
puller.
the bestseller,
That's right.
right.
Your money
between
bringer.
the bestseller and Matt Damon, that you're done, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
and the thing
is,
is, that specifically, once again, I'm gonna get in so much trouble now. But anyway, with The Martian was it when they say, well, we don't have Muhammad so and so. Well, the thing is, you already had big names in The Martian. If you would have cast an Indian or a South Asian person in the role that Chiwetel Ejiofor played, you would have then, when you did the next movie that you needed a South Asian actor in, you would have had
somebody that was there.
who you had propelled. So they have the opportunity to do it. But they just, I guess I don't understand.
There's always a reason, you know. There's always a reason.
There's
But
also a lot of
financial.
blame.
But is it financial?
I don't think it's. I honestly don't think, because it isn't financial. Like, you know, the thing is, it becomes financial when they're the star of a movie, maybe, right? But there's so many opportunities when they're not the stars of movies, and also this goes back to the Academy, right? So. That's the end of the line, right? You know, it's about getting the movies made and stuff. But then let's say, you know, movies that are made maybe get looked at differently because the culture of people that are there are like, oh, this movie is important to me.
Yeah.
Like this story that I haven't seen before is actually quite moving, and it gets recognition, and the director or a writer or an actor or somebody from there starts to get a little bit of cachet that moves them to the next thing, I mean, if you look at Scarlett Johansson, who's also in the middle of this because she's playing in Ghost of the Machine, right?
Yes.
But if you look at I read this great article about this where you look at the trajectory of her career, right? And so, like, you know, when she's starting to play, like, I think Ghost World was one of her early movies, but like, you know, and that was, again, based on a previous property, but like if somebody had, you know, that led to the one that she did with Colin Firth, I think, where, right? And so, but if a woman of color was potentially in that role, where it could have gone either way,
it's
right?
not. It stops,
it
right?
Stopped, that trajectory stops. And the thing is, if it's not even introduced, you don't even have the option.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it's just
it's a very problematic.
It's about changing. It's about changing the culture.
Yeah.
And it's a slow process, and you know the Academy doesn't make movies; they recognize them. So,
but they don't. I think that they're recognizing how important of a role that they play, because even in these things, like I say, like, you know, we all look at these top 10 lists and all these things, like, oh, the top 10 new actors of I think Vanity Fair does them, and then when Vanity Fair puts a pictorial up of the top actresses or the ones that are getting all the buzz, and they're all white. And even the thing is, they are also the ones who are contributing to who's getting buzz. Right. So the thing is, the reason they're not getting buzz is because you're not giving them buzz, and then you're saying, well, there's no actresses of color that have buzz. Well, you're the ones who are not writing about them because you're creating the buzz. It's very
it's all, it's also like, you know, like you see an actor that gets a breakout, they get an Oscar nomination, right? And then you the thing you worry about is, oh boy, what's the next thing going to be for them? Yeah. Like I'm specifically actors of color, women of color, right? Like what's the next thing going to be for them? Because that's even different than white women. Which is not to say that it's easy for white women at all, but not. I mean, but to say like, you know, I'm specifically thinking of like, so the guy from Captain Phillips,
Barkhad,
Abdi, and then Gabby, what's her name from
Gabourey Sidibe,
from Precious, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like we see those perform, and then it's not like they haven't been in stuff, right? But I mean, the trajectory, the arc
it's not
of
the
career,
Gabourey.
right?
First of all, she's
an empire.
Well, that's the thing. It's like usually when you're an after you've been nominated for an Oscar, you stay in these like big movies, and you become from being an Oscar nominee to being on television,
and this isn't
usually is considered a step down.
I mean, the thing is, and this is not to diminish the work. This is not to diminish the work that they're doing at all. Like as an actor, as like a colleague, like, you know, like we are in the same field, like all of us, right? Yeah. So it's like, listen, work is work, and you're doing good work, and it's awesome. But
not to diminish the work, but to say that this is not the trajectory that this happens. This is usually
it's not the same trajectory as a white
male had been nominated for an Oscar, and then the next thing they did was to do a network television, a guest star on a television show.
My question is, the point of all this is that the Academy did something. Isn't that a step in the right direction?
It is a step in the
yes.
Then let's appreciate it.
No, we appreciate it, but I think there's also a point to be made is this really gonna do anything if
Right,
it
I
moves
mean,
the needle by 2%.
It's better than nothing.
Well, we
No,
have
no,
to
and I
stop
think-
saying it's better than
but I
nothing.
think-
We need to actually make a leap instead of like.
But we
us
did.
try.
There
Yeah.
was. It happened because there was so much of social media
Yeah.
pressure from every side,
I
and
think-
also from people just speaking out against it. That's why even that 2% move. Otherwise, it never moves.
I don't think the thing, and like specifically about the post is that Sumi put up is about saying it's not who cares. It's very much the opposite of that. It's about saying, listen, this is a step in the right direction, but there's two things: patting, like the establishment basically saying, look at how awesome we are for doing this, is disingenuous, right? Because it is a step in the right direction, but it's like it's more honest to say like we've moved the needle 2 to 3%. It took us a lot of effort to move the needle 2 to 3%, and here's moving forward, as opposed to saying, "Oh my God, how awesome are we? 46%."
Yeah.
That's point
No,
one.
I
Point two is
I
also
completely get that.
is the amount of. It's not. I mean, not even pushback. I'd say straight up vitriol. I know you never should read the comments. Never read the comments.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I mean, we just live in this time. I mean, just driving here, somebody's like, I heard somebody honk at the guy behind me and call him like a
Oh,
stupid
don't curse.
immigrant.
Be
No,
careful.
I said, I said, you dumb immigrant. I mean, like,
Oh,
I mean, I'm
no.
just saying, like, we're at a place
Yeah.
where it's not like, the stuff is even more on the surface now, let alone when you're talking internet comments. But I mean, what I'm saying is the level of vitriol against even this small thing, and this is not even, and again, in the bigger picture, the academy is the end of the line, right?
Yeah.
We need to be talking. We also simultaneously need to be talking about what happens at the beginning of the process, which is in the writing and what's getting green lit, and it's funny,
Casting,
like
all
Who's
of it.
writing it?
all of that. Yeah, who's writing those characters?
Very important.
Like.
But just on your point is that
Yeah.
because when you put out articles like this saying, "Oh, what a huge change," and all these, it makes people feel like, "Oh, now the
It's
academy
done.
is populated by minorities and women." But wait, no. But the thing was happening.
Intelligent
is that next
people
year-
don't feel
well,
that.
the next year when
And then the next year?
when it's still all white nominees, they're gonna be like, "Well, you know what? We did our job. We put them all in there, and
Yeah.
they still voted for." But the thing is, they don't realize the actual math of it. Really.
I understand that, but all I'm saying is that any step in any direction is in the right direction.
Nobody's
is a-
arguing that,
because just to give you an example of Gandhi,
Yeah.
it took him little baby steps
Yeah.
to fight the British
Well, I'm not
Empire.
going to argue with Gandhi. You're listening to the Brown Guys on Desi 980 AM, Hollywood's Bollywood station. You were also listening to, in addition to Rizwan Manji and Ismail Bashi, you were listening to Sunil Malhotra. And we're so happy that you
I'm honored
joined
to be
us
here.
today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And we will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. with comedian Mona Sheikh and actor Sean Krishnan. So who I know you
nice.
know. Anyways, thank you for listening.
Let's
We'll be back.
say Om Shanti to Gandhi.
Can we say Om Shanti Om and sing it?
No, I think
I love that movie.
Yeah.
We got to go, so we're going to
Okay.
do it quickly.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You're not going to do it.
Here, you may need these. High velocity, armor piercing. They'll take the hat off an elite at 2,000 yards. And they ain't cheap.